What is good, everybody? My name is Polo. Hope you're doing well. And today I am stepping out of my comfort zone and checking out some music I never grew up listening to or even knew about. And the band that I'm checking out today is none other than The Cure, all right? Which has that whole goth look, okay? Now, if we were back in high school or even if I was a young adult and I would see the goth kids and things of that nature, I didn't get them, okay, at all. And I definitely didn't know anything about their music. But since starting a YouTube channel and listening to a lot of the music that you guys have suggested to me with explanations and breakdowns of some of these different bands and history and things of that nature, I have totally come to a different mindset in terms of being open-minded and understanding where people are coming from musically. And I definitely get The Cure at this point of my life, with a little bit more life experience and years behind my belt. And it would be an understatement to say that The Cure's music doesn't appeal to my palate. While, I won't be wearing any makeup anytime soon, you can definitely call me a fan of the band so far. So every request that I get to listen to a Cure song has been a wonderful experience. So the song that we're checking out today comes via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. It's The Cure, Other Voices. All right. Now, let me pull up and see who sent this in. This was sent by Mary. Okay. Mary via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. All right. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that just because, you support the channel and you send in your request for what you like, that's not going to deter how I feel about a song. I'm going to give my honest opinion because who cares what I think, you know? You know what I mean? Whether I like it or don't like it, or what I feel about it, what I think about it. I don't play an instrument, and I haven't accomplished what these guys have. So, at the end of the day, it's all subjective. But before we get started, if you guys like this type of content, do me a big favor and like the video. If you want to stay up to date whenever I post, subscribe and hit that notification bell just in case I post a video you might want to see. Now, if you want to support further than that, my links will be in the description. As Mary did here, the Buy Me a Coffee links, the Cash Apps, Venmos, or subscribing to the Patreon where you can catch other content that may get blocked on YouTube or album reviews or hit me up directly. That's on Patreon. You can also join a Discord there as well, where I'm trying to build a community slowly, but it's going. So that's enough of me yapping. Let's go ahead and check out The Cure. All right. First impression, and The Cure does something that Pink Floyd does. They sound nothing alike, but I like bands like this that they take time to set the pace. They build, they set the atmosphere before going in. They're never in a rush to just hit you right in the face. And I do like bands like that too. Sometimes some bands, like, soon as you hit play, bam, it's right there. They're ready to go, horsepower. But yeah, I like The Cure, the way they set the scene in some of their songs so far. Beautiful low end here, bass line. right. It's kind of trippy seeing him younger. 'Cause sometimes we as reactors, people send in their favorite performances, and it's when they're more seasoned. So so sometimes we start reverse. We start seeing their older music, and then we go back reacting to them when they were younger. And I'm basically focusing on the music, but I just so happen to glance over at the screen here and see how young he was here. But yeah, this is fire. I am loving it. Man. And I apologize if the audio's a little low, as I don't want to start troubleshooting. It's just me. I don't have a tech team here. I think it's the video itself, the audio, for some whatever reasons. Maybe I should have did the Spotify version. I don't know, but the audio does. I got mine turned all the way up to the max, and it feels kind of low. It's not. I listen to my music pretty loud. Probably not the best for my ears, but I like music that I can feel. Okay, and I like to be immersed when I'm listening to certain music, as music has always been one of the most powerful forms of escapism. When I was going through my darkest times as a kid. Chills. When you get older, you discover a lot of things are backwards. Some of the people that you thought were the most cool were assholes, and some of the people that you thought were the weirdest people were actually based. Okay, like this is. I've said this before, and I think that the artists that create their own lane, that dare to be different than everyone else, are the ones that people tend to resonate with the most. You know, I say that because as someone who's listened to so many different textures of music, not just music that I love, but even diving into music that's out of my comfort zone that I didn't grow up listening to, you would think it would be difficult, even more difficult, but no one sounds like The Cure. No one sounds like Smashing Pumpkins. No one sounds like Black Sabbath to me, and no one sounds like Tool to me. Okay, so that like there's so many, and I can go on and on and on and on. These people, and that's how it was in hip hop too. The artists didn't try to back in the day. They didn't try to be like each other and try to sample everything and sound like this artist. They wanted to create their own lane and were brave enough to do it, whether people accepted it or not. And The Cure, like to me, they create a vibe of their own that I just love. I've never felt it before. Change your mind, you're That bass groove is like the theme of the record, but it's so beautiful. I love it. I'll be willing to bet it. I'll be willing to bet they started off with that. They was like, let's do this, and they just built on top of it. I don't know. I'm just reaching out there, but sometimes that's how songs happen. It was like, hey, I got this right here. Like, yeah, I like that. Let's add this to it, and it felt like this was one of those. Amazing. Oh, I gotta say, The Cure is shooting like Ray Allen at the free throw line. He rarely misses, and they haven't missed yet for me. Okay, which is odd, completely odd. Like if you see where I've come from, I've always, you know what, I'm not gonna act like I was just a straight, just listening to rap. I listen to other stuff, but nothing like this. Or whatever. I've always liked, what sounds good to me just sounds good to me. I can't explain it. I think I read a comment where they say, I never paid attention to genres, and music was always just art to me. But to pretend that genres don't exist would be disingenuous. When you go into the store and you're looking to buy a new record, and you're in the rap section and you love, I don't know, rock or whatever, you're not going to get what you're looking for. So they exist for a minute, for a reason. But I get how someone would have more of a comment like, oh man, I hate focusing on genres when it's all just art at the end of the day, which is true. But human beings, we tend to recognize patterns, and that's what separates us from other animals, in my opinion. But The Cure here is just amazing so far. All right, they haven't missed, and I don't know if they can. And I don't know, but call me a fan. I've never been to a concert before, and I would look like the weirdest person at a Cure concert ever. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be many of me in there, right? Which I'm fine with. I don't care what people think for the most part, but I enjoyed this. This is incredible. 10 out of 10. Definitely something that I would play in the Forerunner. And yeah, can't wait to check out the next Cure record that you guys send in or that I pick. Sometimes I'll if I don't get one for a while, I'll just randomly pick one and ask AI, hey, what song creates this feeling? And I'm in the mood to hear something like this. Does The Cure have a song like this? And then they'll send it to me, whatever, they're good at that. But usually you guys who have been fans for years do a great job of fulfilling that void. So, and I do that with different bands too. Like if it's been a long time since I've had like a certain request from a certain artist that I've been wanting to hear, I'm like, hey man, if nobody's going to do it, then I'll go ahead and discover on my own for entertainment purposes, but but keep the camera rolling, for as long as you guys want to see it. And also, again, thanks for the 100,000 subscribers. If it's been a minute for you guys who haven't been on my channel in a while, put the plaque up somewhere. But thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time watching my videos.